Hello everyone, it's Helen here and thank you for joining me today. So this is the second video in the mini album die series, and today we're going to be working on the inside pages. So in the previous video on the hinge and the covers, we made the outside of our album. So we have the hinges all ready to go, we have our covers made, and I have the die here that I've used to make these two covers here are also going to make the inside pages, and I've taken that from the portrait album die set. So we're going to be working on this album for the next couple of videos, and all the links for everything will be down below. If anything is out of stock, it should be on pre-order, or at least you'll be able to put your email address in to let you know when it's going to be back in stock, so you'll be notified for that. Okay, so papers, I absolutely love these papers. These are from The Works. It's a UK store and they were £3 and I absolutely love them. So I don't know if they are going to be available online, so some of you may not be able to get your hands on these, but if you actually do walk into The Works and have a look, then yeah, just see if they have this pad if you love this pad. And apologies if you can't get hold of this pad, I just want to use some of my favourite papers for these albums because I'm going to be keeping these ones for myself. Okay, let's get cutting. So this die here is going to do all the cutting and the scoring. So we need 6 in total for the pages. I've got 5 cuts here, and we're going to be cutting this one today. Right, so something I do need to mention is you're going to be needing a large format die cutting machine, so it needs to be able to take A4 sheets of paper. I've used these dies on the Big Shot Plus. It works lovely with that, and it also works really well with the Gemini, which I have here. So at home I use the Gemini, and when I'm on Hachanda, the shopping channel, I use the Big Shot Plus. Right, so the layers are the cutting plate, I have the plastic shim, I have the rubber mat, and then I have the top cutting plate. Right, so I'm going to run that through the machine. Okay, here we go. There we go. Right, so let's just move all of those aside. So what we all have to do now is just fold everything. So the score lines have already been done for you, so grab a bone folder. I totally recommend you have this in your craft stash, in your tools. Definitely, I can't do without mine. It really does give you the best finish to your projects, and it's a very inexpensive tool as well. Right, so that is how we assemble our first page. So I'm going to be using Cosmic Shimmer. Dries clear, it's not actually shimmery. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add glue up to the score line, all over the tab. You can use red line tape as well, but I do prefer the glue. And then just press that down, and it does dry super fast as well, so you don't have to stand there for ages holding your projects. Right, so that's the first page. So let me get all of the other pages assembled. So as you can see, having the die just cut everything out for you, you can really have a lot of fun putting this together, and it not taking a lot of time and energy as well, so you can really get some fast albums made up with this. So there's our second page. Going right up to the corners here. Right, so the plan is to kind of alternate the busyness. So I have like this is more of a plain pattern than it is with this busy pattern, so I'm kind of alternating them. So that really does help to give you a nice looking album. Okay, so you may have noticed that the pad that I used was a 12 by 12, so all I did was I trimmed it down to 8 1/4, and that meant that it will fit through my die cutting machine perfectly. So I basically cut it down to an A4, which is slightly a bit longer than an A4 sheet of paper, because A4 is around about 11 3/4 of an inch, so it's about 1/4 of an inch longer. So we're almost there now. So I am kind of going right up to the edge there as well, because when we have our inserts, we don't really want it catching on that. And just double checking that we haven't actually glued our our page completely shut. There we go. One more to do. Do we have this side? Do we have that side? I'm going to go with this side. I'm into all the colours at the moment, so every Christmas I kind of have like a champagne and bronze Christmas tree with gold sparkle, champagne and bronze sparkle, and clear lights. That's my personal preference for Christmas decorations at the moment, and it's stuck with me for a few years. However, when I craft for Christmas, I like all the traditional colours, like even the bright retro colours, so to speak, like the blues and the reds and the pinks and the purples, all of the rainbow of the colours added together. I'm not really into like the rainbow tree, but when you mix it in and make some really bright cards, that's kind of what I'm into, so I like that. So my crafting preferences are different from how I decorate my house. Okay, right, so I'm just putting these in a more or less the order I want them to appear. So these two stripes, I know there's a name for them, can't think of it now. They were a bit close together, so I've moved them apart slightly. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to put them together. I'm going to turn them over because we're going to be working backwards to the front. So I'm going to add those to the side, and this has definitely had time to dry now. So we're going to start with this hinge here, which is our first hinge at the back. We're going to add glue to either side of the hinge. Go right up to the fold, and then I turn it over. I'm going to glue the other side. You can use red line tape for this. I prefer the security of the glue. So turning that right back the right way. I'm going to grab our page, and then what we're going to do is we're going to slot it onto the hinge. So this took me a good few times. When I first started album making, it took me a good few times to kind of get used to this process of adding the pages on. So what I'm going to do is I've added it right up to where it folds, so I can still see the score lines and the fold lines. I'll turn it over, just double check that's all right, and then what I'm going to do now is fold it down flat, and I'm going to just double check that everything is straight across here and straight up there, and then only then I'm going to press that down when I'm happy that everything is straight. So I'm happy with how that is turning out. And there we go, press that down. So that is our first page done, and we have a pocket at the top, so that's not properly dry yet, so press that down. Okay, so moving on to the next page, it's exactly the same. Line everything up. I will add another tip once I add this top page, and then I will do the rest off film, and then I'll be back after that to show you what it looks like and how fast this doesn't take a lot of time at all, so it comes together really fast. Okay, another thing I'm doing is I'm going right into the corners there of the binding. Right, so this is our second from last page. I just love the way that this paper is double-sided, so you can actually see inside the pockets there. So I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to slide this on, and there we go, and I'm going to line everything up. I need to see the fold and the score line here. I need to be able to see it so that our pages turn. And another thing you need to remember is I'm not doing this and pressing down at the glue, because if you do that, you're going to have a page that's going to want to stand up like that, and it's not going to turn very well. So always, as a rule, line everything up top and bottom, and then press down. And then press down the other side as well. And that will just make sure that your pages lie quite flat when you are using your book. So that's what it looks like from the bottom when it's open. And here we have 2 pages at the back, and I'm just going to work my way forwards, and then I'll be right back to show you. Okay, so I've got all of my pages added, as you can see, the top and the bottom, and I'm absolutely loving how this looks on the side as well. So let's have a look and see how our pages work. So we can lay our thing down flat. It may not go down as flat once we've added the final spine on the outside. That's going to add a curvature, but this is an optional extra, and this comes as part of the binding. So let's have a quick flick through. So each one has a pocket at the top, as long as you've put all your pages in the right way around. If you put any in upside down, just glue the bottom shut. And if it's a piece of paper or a pattern that is upside down, just cover it up with another piece of paper. So that's what I would do. I mean, I have plenty of offcuts here from when I trimmed my paper down, so you can literally just mat that. If that's upside down, you just mat that and it will be perfectly fine. You can fix mostly anything. So let's keep flicking through. Lovely, lovely, lovely. This is making me very happy. And there is our last page. So all we have to do now is decorate the front, add our spine, make some inserts, and that is how we assemble the portrait album die set, and also the Midi album die set as well. So I do have something cut out. Where did I put it? It's behind me. Here we are. So this is also a page just like the portrait album. It assembles exactly in the same way, and this is from the Midi album die set. So that is how you assemble those two, and in the next video I'll be showing you how to assemble the other style of page, which is from our landscape album die set. So please do join me for that, and it will be along shortly.